I'm Keith Olbermann, and this is The Resistance. We all know why Donald Trump is doing this. He has an ego that would make Napoleon blanch and a power lust that would make Stalin back off. His pimp, Vladimir Putin, has something on him. He's crazy. He sees stuff. Or, best case scenario, he just exploits everyone and everything. He is the parent to whom the kid shouts out in the middle of the night crying, "There are monsters under my bed." And he says, "You are correct, there are monsters, and only I can save you from the monsters, but first turn over your allowance and sign this non-disclosure agreement, and don't ever think or say or tell anybody that in fact I am the monster." Trump, by now, we get Trump. But why are the banana Republicans, who as recently as 2 months ago had showed brief, ever fading signs of standing up to Trump, why are they doing this? Why are they becoming the Vichy government, which sold out France during the Nazi occupation? Why are they lining up to become Quislings, collaborating with the Germans and helping kill their fellow Norwegians? Why are they applauding a Russian attack on America? Well, clearly they were only standing up to Trump because they were afraid he would lose. Once Trump won, they saw power, and as Eric Blair once wrote, "We are interested solely in power, pure power. No one ever seizes power with the intention of relinquishing it. Power is not a means, it is an end. The object of power is power." Mr. Blair, published, of course, under the name George Orwell. Still, it's not just about abstract power for the banana Republicans, for the mercenary monsters like Paul Ryan. There is a specific reason they are backing Trump, for now, until he shows signs of losing again, at which point they will kill him and eat him. For Republicans who think they are using Trump, Trump is perpetual chaff. I have mentioned chaff before. Chaff is metal debris used by bombers and missile crews and pilots to confuse radar. And Trump spews chaff every day, every hour, every minute, and as hard as we try, you and I cannot avoid all of it. And so while he's enraging people by appointing of a Secretary of Labor who hates labor, and a Secretary of Housing who hates housing, and a Secretary of Energy who once couldn't remember that he wanted to dismantle the Department of Energy, while he's doing all these other Eric Blairish chaff things, and while we're raging about ambassadorships reportedly being offered as quid pro quos to get bigger acts to play at the inaugural, or how the self-dealer-elect is going to stay on as executive producer of one of the worst shows ever on television. And while we pull out our hair because the self-dealer-elect's last campaign manager says he will do that in his spare time, while all that chaff is flying, the banana Republicans are going on a stealth offensive. They have to reveal themselves sooner or later, if only to signal the corporations who own them that yes, the fix is in and ownership will be getting what they prostituted the government for. For Paul Ryan, sooner or later turned out to be sooner. 2 Thursdays ago, a man named Stephen C. Goss wrote a letter to another man named Sam Johnson, and in so doing, the cat jumped out of the banana Republicans' bag. Mr. Goss is chief actuary of the Social Security Administration, the man who has to assess the impact of the economy and the legislation and basically everything in the world on the future, not only of Social Security, but also of those who receive Social Security. And the man he wrote to, Mr. Johnson, is the Republican congressman from the 3rd District of Texas, who's chairman of the Ways and Means Committee's Subcommittee on Social Security. And on the 8th of this month, Mr. Johnson introduced Bill H.R. 6489, the Social Security Reform Act of 2016. Mr. Goss's letter is 16 pages long, plus 14 more pages of tables and graphs, and the kind of calculations that nearly caused me to flunk out of senior math in high school, and but for the generosity of my math teacher, Jerry Murphy, I'd be in my 42nd consecutive year trying to graduate from high school. But it's Mr. Johnson's bill that matters here. It explains why the Republicans are abetting the idiot-elect. Mr. Goss's letter explains how deeply Johnson and Paul Ryan and all the other corporate whores intend to plunge the knife into the back of Social Security, and especially those hardworking fools of middle America who actually believed the net impact of a Donald Trump presidency would be more money for them and not, poverty in their old age. The gist is they're screwed. Social Security, not just Medicaid or Medicare, on which it's always open season in Republican land, Social Security would be gutted. Not only no more money going into Social Security, but actually less money going in, and massive cuts to money going out in Social Security checks. Some cuts starting as soon as December 2018. If you're making around $50,000, your Social Security check would be cut between 11% and 35%. This bill, or some lesser new version of it that the banana Republicans would introduce next year, in which instead of being stabbed to death, you just die more slowly by bleeding to death, that's why Paul Ryan and the Republicans are supporting Trump. Ordinary Americans, particularly those Trump voters who will have taken this Social Security cut knife and managed to stab themselves in their own back with it, they will be watching whatever Trump is doing at the moment, at some point likely to be his version of Daffy Duck, drinking a gallon of gasoline, bottle of nitroglycerin, pile of gunpowder, and a glass of uranium-238, and then lighting a match. And in the background, the Republican House and Republican Senate, now full of subsidiaries of the corporations who were able to buy this country after Citizens United, they will destroy Social Security so the rich can get even richer by stealing $1 billion, $1 at a time, and our part-time president will take a quick look away from his Twitter feed to sign exactly where they tell him to sign. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine you're on a ship that has just sunk and sunk quickly. You have popped up to the surface next to a large empty lifeboat. It is stocked with provisions, 2 oars, and room for several dozen people. What you do next defines, to me, mankind. There are generally 2 responses. In the first, you get in the lifeboat. You assess exactly how many other people can safely fit in, how long you can all last, and you begin to pull in other survivors still in the water, trying to bring in women and children first, and injured, but also people to help you help them and to row this big boat. In the second response, you get in the lifeboat, you assess exactly how long you could last if you ate all the food by yourself, and then you pick up one of the oars and you start swinging it at the other survivors still in the water, killing them if possible, to make sure you are the only one in the boat. The first response makes you a liberal, also known as a human being. The second response makes you a conservative. Open your eyes now. Surprisingly, as seen in the banana Republicans' Social Security play, it now turns out there's actually a third response to this. In this one, you actually help a couple of other survivors into that lifeboat, and then, as they are leaning over the side trying to help pull up others, you kill them with the oar, and then you steal their wallets off their dead bodies so you can make a profit off of them. That third response, that makes you Donald Trump. Resist. Peace.